clumsy idiot!
My scalp was burning. Her manicured nails dug into my hair, yanking me across the marble floor like I was nothing. I screamed. God, I screamed so loud, but she didn't stop. She just kept dragging me, her voice dripping with venom as she called me worthless trash. What she didn't know? My billionaire husband was watching everything on CCTV. And what happened next? She lost everything. Hey everyone, I'm Maria. And before you click away, let me tell you something. This isn't just another story about a rich woman being cruel to someone she thought was beneath her. This is about the moment I learned exactly who I could trust, who I couldn't, and how karma can destroy someone's entire life in less than an hour. If you've ever been judged, humiliated, or made to feel small because of what you do or how you look, this story is for you. Stay with me until the end because the revenge— oh, it was so powerful, so complete. That woman is still paying for what she did to me that day. And guys, if you believe people should treat everyone with respect, no matter what job they do, hit that like button right now. And subscribe, because I share real stories that will make you think twice about how you treat others. Let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Maria, and yes, I'm married to a billionaire. But that's not the important part of who I am. What matters is that I own a chain of luxury restaurants across the city. 5-star establishments where the elite come to dine, to see and be seen, to spend more on one meal than most people earn in a month. For years, I ran these restaurants from behind a desk. I looked at profit margins, approved menus, hired managers. I was distant from the actual day-to-day operations. But then something started happening. I began receiving complaints. Not about the food or the ambiance. Those were perfect. The complaints were about how my staff treated certain customers, and worse, how certain customers treated my staff. One letter I received particularly haunted me. It was from a young waitress who had quit. She wrote about being screamed at, humiliated, and even physically pushed by a wealthy customer who thought she'd brought the wrong wine. When she reported it to the manager, she was told to toughen up, because the customer is always right, especially when they're spending thousands. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about that girl, about all the servers who smiled through abuse because they needed their jobs. I realized something terrible. I had created these spaces, these beautiful restaurants, but I had no idea what really happened inside them when I wasn't looking. That's when I decided to do something crazy. I was going to work undercover as a waitress in my own restaurant. My husband thought I was out of my mind. "Maria," he said, holding my hands across our dining table, "you don't need to do this. Just install cameras, hire secret shoppers, do anything else." But I shook my head. I needed to experience it myself. I needed to feel what my employees felt. He finally agreed, but on one condition. He made me promise that he could monitor me through the CCTV system we'd install. Extra cameras, hidden ones, angles that would capture everything. "If anything goes wrong," he told me, his voice firm, "I need to know immediately." I agreed. How dangerous could it be, right? I was just going to serve some tables. I was so wrong. The first day I walked into my own restaurant wearing a simple waitress uniform, I felt strange. My hair was pulled back in a basic ponytail, no makeup except a little lip gloss, wearing the same burgundy vest and white shirt as every other server. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror before my shift started. I looked ordinary, forgettable, invisible. And that's exactly what I became. The manager who'd worked for me for 3 years walked right past me during the morning briefing, didn't even glance twice. The other servers introduced themselves kindly enough, but they saw me as just another new girl who probably wouldn't last through the week. In their world, I was nobody. The first few days were eye-opening. I learned how to balance 5 plates at once, how to smile when someone snapped their fingers at me, how to apologize for things that weren't my fault. But I also learned something beautiful. I learned about the bonds between the staff, how they covered for each other, encouraged each other, shared tips when someone had a bad night. There was this one girl, Sophia. She was only 19, working 2 jobs to pay for her college. Sweet kid, always nervous, always trying so hard to do everything perfect. She reminded me of myself at that age, before I had money, before I had power. Just a girl trying to make it. I'd been working undercover for about 2 weeks when it happened, the day that changed everything. It was a Saturday evening. The restaurant was packed with the usual crowd: business executives, wealthy couples, people wearing watches that cost more than cars. I was taking an order from table 7 when I heard her voice. "Excuse me? Excuse me. Is anyone going to seat me, or do I have to do everything myself?" I turned and saw her, tall blonde hair styled in perfect waves, wearing a designer dress in deep burgundy that probably cost $20,000. Diamonds dripped from her neck and wrists. But it wasn't her wealth that struck me. I'd seen plenty of wealthy people. It was the look on her face, pure entitlement mixed with contempt for everyone around her. The hostess rushed over, apologizing profusely, and seated her at one of our best tables by the window. I watched from across the room as she immediately started complaining. The chair wasn't comfortable, the lighting was wrong, the table wobbled. Nothing was good enough. I felt my jaw tighten. I'd seen this before, but experiencing it from this side of the room was different. Sophia was assigned to her table. Poor Sophia. I watched the girl's face fall when the manager told her. She knew this woman. Apparently, she was a regular who went through servers like tissues, getting at least one fired every visit. I watched Sophia approach the table, her notepad shaking slightly in her hands. The blonde woman didn't even look up at her, just started listing demands. Specific water, sparkling but not too cold, lemon on the side but only if it was organic. A wine that we didn't carry, and when Sophia politely explained this, the woman's eyes went cold. "What kind of establishment is this?" she hissed. "Do you have any idea who I am?" Sophia stammered an apology and offered alternatives. The woman waved her hand dismissively. "Just bring me whatever you people consider adequate. Clearly, excellence is too much to expect here." I felt anger rising in my chest. This was my restaurant, my staff, but I couldn't break cover, not yet. I needed to see how bad it really got. Sophia brought the wine. Her hands were shaking. I could see it from where I stood. She was so nervous, so desperate to get this right. She approached the table carefully, the bottle held properly, trying to remember all her training. That's when it happened. Another server bumped into Sophia. Just a small jostle. The restaurant was crowded. But it was enough. The wine bottle tilted, and a few drops, maybe a tablespoon of wine, splashed onto the edge of the blonde woman's dress. The restaurant seemed to go quiet, or maybe that was just my perception. But I heard the woman scream crystal clear, "You stupid, clumsy idiot!" She shot up from her chair, knocking it backward. Sophia jumped back, the wine bottle nearly slipping from her hands. "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so..." "Sorry?" The woman's voice could have shattered glass. "Do you have any idea how much this dress costs? Do you? This is imported, custom-made, worth more than you'll earn in your entire pathetic life." I started moving toward them. I couldn't help it. "Ma'am, please, I'll pay for the cleaning, I'll..." Sophia's voice was breaking. She was starting to cry. "Pay for it!" The woman laughed, cruel and sharp. You can't even afford to look at this dress. You're nothing. You're garbage in a uniform, and you should be on your knees thanking God that places like this even give trash like you jobs." That's when I reached them. "Excuse me, ma'am," I said, my voice calm but firm. "It was an accident. A tiny stain that dry cleaning will easily..." The woman's eyes snapped to me. "And who are you?" "Another one of these useless waitresses? Did I ask for your opinion?" "I'm just saying there's no need to speak to her that way." She apologized. "These things happen." The woman's face turned red. "These things happen? These things happen?" She took a step toward me, and I could smell her expensive perfume mixed with rage. "Let me tell you what's going to happen. This girl is going to be fired. Tonight. And now, for your insolence, so are you." She turned to the manager who had rushed over. "I want both of them terminated, immediately, or I'll make sure every person I know hears about the incompetent staff at this establishment." The manager looked panicked. "Ma'am, perhaps we can..." I want them fired. I should have revealed myself then. I should have told her who I was, but something in me wanted to see how far she'd go, how cruel someone could be when they thought they had all the power. "Ma'am," I said quietly, "we're just doing our jobs. There's no need for anyone to lose their employment over a drop of wine." Her eyes narrowed. "You dare talk back to me? You, a server, a nobody, dare to speak to me like you're my equal? I'm speaking to you like one human being to another." That's when her hand flew. The slap echoed through the restaurant. My face snapped to the side, my cheek exploding in pain. I heard Sophia gasp, heard the other diners murmur. My eyes watered from the shock and the sting. "That's for forgetting your place," the woman said. I turned back to face her slowly, my hand on my burning cheek. "You just assaulted me." "Assault?" She laughed. "That was discipline. That's what happens when servants get uppity." I should have walked away, called security, called my husband, but I was frozen, shocked that someone could actually do this. And then it got worse. She grabbed my hair, her fingers twisted into my ponytail and yanked, hard. I cried out in pain as she pulled me downward. "You need to learn respect," she hissed in my ear, and then she started dragging me. I screamed. God, I screamed. The pain was incredible. It felt like my scalp was being ripped off. She was pulling me across the floor, my knees scraping against the marble, my hands trying to pry her fingers from my hair. "Stop! Please stop!" I was begging, crying, the pain so intense I couldn't think straight. "This is what you deserve," she was shouting. "This is what happens to trash who doesn't know their place." She dragged me maybe 10 feet, though it felt like miles. Other customers were standing now, some horrified, some recording on their phones. The staff was frozen in shock, and this woman, this cruel, horrible woman just kept pulling, kept dragging, kept screaming about how I was worthless, how I was nothing. I felt hair ripping from my scalp, felt warm blood starting to trickle down my neck. My uniform was torn at the shoulder from being dragged. I was sobbing now, from pain, from humiliation, from the sheer cruelty of it. She finally let go, and I collapsed on the floor, my hands going to my head. I could feel the tender spots where hair had been ripped out, could feel myself shaking. The woman stood over me, breathing hard, her face flushed with exertion and rage. "Let that be a lesson," she said. "Know your place, or this is what happens." I looked up at her through my tears, and I saw it, that satisfaction in her eyes. She enjoyed this. She enjoyed hurting me, enjoyed the power, enjoyed reducing another human being to a crying mess on the floor. That's when I heard the doors slam open. "Take your hands off my wife!" The voice boomed through the restaurant like thunder. I knew that voice. I'd know it anywhere. My husband came striding across the restaurant floor, his face a mask of pure fury. Behind him, security guards, the restaurant manager, and half the staff poured in. The blonde woman stepped back, confused. "You're... what?" My husband reached me in seconds, dropping to his knees beside me. His hands were gentle as he helped me sit up, his eyes scanning my face, my torn uniform, my bleeding scalp. I saw his jaw clench, saw the rage building behind his eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked me softly. "Maria, are you okay?" I think so," I whispered. He helped me to my feet carefully, keeping one arm around me. Then he turned to face the blonde woman, and his expression could have frozen fire. "Do you know what you just did?" His voice was quiet now, but somehow more terrifying than when he'd shouted. The woman was looking between us, realization starting to dawn. She's just a waitress. She was rude. She, my husband cut her off, is Maria, the Maria, owner of this restaurant, owner of this entire chain, and my wife." The color drained from the woman's face. That's not possible. She's wearing a uniform. She was serving tables. The restaurant manager stepped forward. "Mrs. Maria has been working undercover for the past 2 weeks, and you just assaulted the owner of this establishment." I watched the woman's world crumble in real time. Her mouth opened and closed. Her hands started shaking. I thought, she can't be. But I am, I said, my voice hoarse from screaming. And you showed me exactly who you are. You showed everyone in this room who you are. She tried to approach, hands out in a pleading gesture. Mrs. Maria, please, I didn't know. I would never have. You would never have what? My husband's voice cracked like a whip. Would never have assaulted someone if you knew they had money and power, but doing it to a waitress was perfectly fine? No, I just meant, I know exactly what you meant, he said. He pulled out his phone. Security, hold her. She's not going anywhere. The woman's eyes went wide as 2 security guards moved to flank her. Wait, you can't. I can do whatever I want, and right now I'm calling the police. He dialed, his eyes never leaving the woman's face. Yes, I need to report an assault. Physical assault captured on multiple cameras. The perpetrator is being detained at my location. The woman started crying then. Please, please, I'm sorry, I'll pay for everything, please don't do this. My husband ignored her. He made another call. Jonathan? Yes, it's me. I need you to cancel every contract with the Patterson family, every single one. I don't care if it costs us millions. I want nothing to do with them. He paused. Why? Because his wife just assaulted Maria, dragged her across a restaurant floor by her hair. I watched the woman's face go from red to white. Patterson, I asked quietly. Her husband, my husband confirmed. My business partner, or should I say, former business partner. The woman was fully panicking now. No, please, you can't do this. My husband's business, our life. Should have thought about that before you put your hands on my wife. He made another call, to his lawyer, then another, to a judge he knew, then another, to someone at the media. With each call, I watched this woman's entire existence dismantling piece by piece. The police arrived within minutes. As they handcuffed her, she was begging, crying, makeup running down her face. Please, I'm sorry. Please, I have children, please. You should have thought about your children before you decided to torture someone you thought couldn't fight back, I said quietly. As they led her away, my husband held me close. I was still shaking, still processing what had happened. I watched everything, he whispered into my hair. Every second on the cameras. I was running down here the moment she grabbed you. I'm so sorry I didn't get here sooner. You got here exactly when you needed to, I said. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. The blonde woman, Mrs. Patterson, was charged with assault and battery. The video from our cameras, plus the cell phone footage from other diners, went viral. Millions of views, millions of people watching her drag me across that floor, hearing her cruel words. Her reputation was destroyed overnight. Every club she belonged to revoked her membership. Every charity board asked her to step down. Her friends abandoned her. The social circles she'd ruled for years wanted nothing to do with her. Her husband divorced her within a month. He claimed he'd been looking for a way out for years, that her cruelty had finally given him the excuse he needed. He cut her off financially, fought her for everything in the divorce. Last I heard, she was living in a small apartment across town, working a regular job, experiencing for the first time what it meant to be treated as less than. Karma didn't just catch up with her, it destroyed her, but that's not the end of the story. Sophia, the young waitress she'd terrorized, got a promotion. I made her a supervisor, put her in charge of training new staff. And the first thing I had her teach? That every person who walks through our doors deserves respect. Whether they're a billionaire or a busboy, they're human beings first. I stopped working undercover, but I didn't go back to my desk either. I spend time on the restaurant floors now. I talk to the staff. I listen to them. I watch how customers treat them. And if anyone crosses the line the way Mrs. Patterson did, they're banned for life. My husband had the CCTV footage from that night framed in his office. Not the assault. He'd never display my pain like that. But the moment he burst through those doors, the moment he called me his wife, the moment that woman's face went pale, he says it reminds him why we work hard, why we have power, not to abuse it, but to protect people who don't have it. So here's what I learned from being dragged across my own restaurant floor. Power isn't about money or status or designer dresses. Real power is in how you treat people when you think nobody's watching. It's in standing up for someone even when it might cost you. It's in recognizing that the person serving your table, cleaning your office, or parking your car is just as valuable as any CEO or celebrity. Mrs. Patterson thought she had power because she had money and connections. But the moment she used that to hurt someone else, she lost everything. And she lost it because she forgot one simple truth: we're all human. We all deserve dignity. We all deserve respect. If you learned something from this story, if it made you think twice about how you treat people, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss stories that matter. And most importantly, comment below and tell me about a time someone judged you wrongly, or a time you stood up for someone who needed it. Share this video. Share it with everyone who needs to hear this message. Because somewhere out there, there's another Sophia being bullied by another Mrs. Patterson. And maybe, just maybe, this story will remind them that karma is real, that justice exists, and that cruelty always, always has consequences. I'm Maria, and I'll never forget the day I learned that the most expensive thing anyone can wear isn't a designer dress. It's their character. And some people are bankrupt in the only currency that truly matters. Thank you for watching. Treat people well, and remember, you never know who's watching.